Big up everybody, it's your boy Mark, an MUFC fan, and you know what it is, guys, it's the Red Devil previews, and you guessed it right, it's the big one, Manchester Derby. It's the time when we host the boys in blue that come across to the place and feel like they're going to give us a talking to. But guess what, guys, all the talking is going to be done on the pitch, and we may not be the big, bad Man United that we have been for quite some time. We may be faltering, we may be slumbering, we may be stumbling. We may not have the manager that everybody thinks we should have. We may not have the structure that brings the miracles. But what I can tell you is tomorrow in the Derby at Old Trafford, we're going to bring you a miracle, folks. We're going to bring you a Man United victory. And we're going to tell you a bit on why we think so. Of course, we will talk about the situation. You know, it's Michael Carrick's first game. Of course, maybe we might even look at his press conference. But first of all, let me bring my Manchester United brethren in the building. You know what I mean? My boy Kyle, he's been here. You've gotten to know him over the last couple of weeks doing the AFCON straight from Kenya. The brother in the building, football overseas, a big welcome to the boy in the chat, folks, because he's a Man United brother just like we are. So, you know, much love and respect. You know what I'm saying? Kyle, what are you saying, homie?
Yeah, big up, man. And I'm excited for the game tomorrow.
Of course. I mean, anybody would be excited for the game, bro. It's Manchester Derby. We hear it's going to be a big one. And, of course, you know, bro, it's not the game that we, you know what I mean? It's not the right time. I mean, but when there is a right time. And, of course, I will say this. We have nothing to lose, folks. Yeah? Michael Carrick's first game as Man United manager. What does Man United have to lose? Nothing. You know, everyone could say what they will, talk about Man United being mid-table. They could talk about Man United struggling. They could talk about Man United looking at a club that just signed a player they wanted to get. But that doesn't say anything, bro. When it comes down to it, it will be done on the pitch. And the most important thing is how Man United deals with the pitch. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, come on. Let me just hear a little, before we really dissect everything, I think the most fair thing to do would be to give the fans a little bit of a view and us a word from the new manager as he comes in and has his bit to say before we really dissect things. I think the fans deserve to hear Michael Carrick, because a lot of people criticizing the guy. And to be fair, I don't understand where the criticism coming from, people. But what I will say is this. You know, I don't think Michael Carrick wanted to be here any much that anybody wanted him to be here. And most importantly, I would say this. Maybe, just maybe, he will do a good job. But let's see. Let's hear what his idea is of Manchester United, what he is trying to do. Of course, we know what they told him they want from him. But let's hear what his idea is, guys, before we dissect things.
We found you first few days then as a Manchester United head coach, and how does it feel to be sat in that chair today?
Very two different roles. Sat in this chair in front of you lot's very different to the role in coaching. Yeah, listen, it's fantastic to be here. It's a great feeling for me to be in this position. You know, I think played different roles for this club and learned to fall in love with the club for so long, and it's a massive part of my life and has been for so long. And so I'm fully aware of the position I'm in. You know, in so many different ways. So as well as that, I'm eager to succeed. You know, we've got a big job to do. It's an important job, and it always is here to win games and to play well and to do it in a certain way. So there's one side of it is nice to be here, but the other side of it is focus, concentration, and a real drive to improve the team and improve results.
Hi, Michael.
And I will stop it there, and I want to ask Kyle. Yeah, guys, Kyle, from that opening conference or statement that he made, or what do you think? Did that give you any inspiration? What make you feel, you know, that, you know, we a little bit positive? Did it make you feel a little bit positive about tomorrow than you was before hearing him say what he said? Or I just asking, just purely.
Oh, yeah. So I did a little bit of digging on his profile. I feel like it's a good appointment. Remember, he was also the interim manager. Was it between Ole and Ten Hag days?
Yeah, for like I
Yeah,
think
he
it
was
was like about two or
manager.
three games between Oli and Ten Hag.
Yeah, and we went unbeaten, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so I think he has done a good record so far, and he's also a former midfield player, and it will be exciting to see what he does with our midfield, especially over the next 6 months. I feel like our players will learn a lot from a midfield legend like him, and it's exciting to see how he'll fix the midfield because as you cannot fix a midfield if you're not been a midfielder before.
True,
So he'll
true.
tell the players back in the days we used to do this and this. So he'll be like a player coach.
Nah,
And we all know that Man United players they resonate with a coach that has played the game before, that has won trophies. And none of these players can challenge him because he has won trophies that some of them haven't won yet. Even people like Cristiano Martinez with his World Cup trophy, he hasn't won as many trophies as he has
facts,
as Michael
facts.
Carrick. Yeah, so I think overall he'll command the dressing room because of that utter respect for that class of players that he belongs to. And if there's somebody who deserves to stand in front of the Carrington's Hall of Trophies, it is him. It is a
Interesting.
perfect picture, and
Yeah.
it gives INEOS a bit of time, even though we hate to say it, but I don't think anyone can attack Michael Carrick with his respect and the level of respect that people have in the fan base for him. And I don't think the pundits will attack him as well. So he's a perfect shield for Glazers Ineos to stand behind him
Yeah,
as they continue
possibly.
to mess up the club.
I mean, hopefully we get rid of them soon, bro. But just a few questions, guys, as we go into the second round of the press conference, guys. Would you start with control or intensity? Who do you think will win the midfield battle tomorrow? Which United player must have a 9 out of 10 performance? And of course, guys, get ready to give your core predictions. No fence sitting tonight, folks. This is a derby.
No,
It can't have it go
but
both
also
ways. It has to go one way or the other. Yep.
but also Mark, remember last season that his team they almost finished top three with
Yeah,
a
he did. He
Middlesbrough.
didn't.
A
I mean,
Middlesbrough that has struggled in a FL Championship. He took them to almost top three. It shows how good he is. People forget that.
yeah, I
Middlesbrough is
think
not a top three club. It's a top 10 club, but he took them to a top three at some point last season. And
interesting.
he deserves that co- congrats for that because that's a good management skills in the second division.
I mean, I mean to say, bro, like Michael Carrick is a good. I would say he's a good manager. You know, he's young in his managerial career, and he still have a lot of things to learn and a lot of ways to improve. But at the end of the time, he doing it the hard way. He not looking for favors. You know, he came into this job by forced situations. And of course, he was doing his thing at other clubs, trying to, find his way in the game. He wasn't trying to just jump into the Man United role. So I would give him a little chance to do his thing. We know it's an interim situation, it's temporary. So it's not like if, I mean, how much they could expect. We just look to see what he can do and what he does with this team, this squad that everybody says is rubbish, in my honest opinion, but a lot of people would say. I would disagree with them. I think this squad capable of 6. So now if he could come in and improve them, maybe we sneak top 5. You never know what could happen at this stage. We're not far off. We're not out of it.
What does success look like then? Is it Champions League qualification? Is that what success will be?
Yeah, I think improvement. I think certainly improvement and helping improve individuals. I think big part of what I really enjoy is improving individuals, and in the end, I think if you improve the individuals, we create a better team. So certainly working with the players and improving them with that. I think And yeah, listen, results. That's what it is. There's an element of performance, there's an element of improvement, and there's an element of doing what it takes to win in certain ways, in certain occasions. So certainly higher up the league we finish. We want to keep pushing and finishing high up as we possibly can, and we'll see where that takes us.
Has there been any stated expectations from the leadership team?
No, not in terms of. It has to be this way or that way. I think it's like I said, it's we want to be near the top of the league. We want to be top of the league. I mean, that's pretty obvious to say, but we got to take some small steps towards that. And European football obviously would be a step forward, and we got to keep pushing.
I had to stop this there, folks. I'm mad enough to replay it, but guys, if you're now joining, of course, there's the match preview for the Manchester United derby. Don't forget, smash the like, share it around. Of course, if you have time, please retweet the pinned comment. It will definitely help share it around and get more people into the chat and everyone conversing about their ideas. And, just to say, if you missed what Michael Carrick said, I don't know if I should play it over again, but I'm feeling like I should give it a replay, folks, because Michael Carrick said the truth. He said I can't feel any more vindicated than I felt right now, because Michael Carrick said exactly what it is I have been saying for the last 16 weeks. And I want you all to hear what it is he said again.
Improvement, and there's an element of doing what it takes to win in certain ways. So certainly working with the players and improving them with that, I think. And yeah, listen, results. That's what it is. There's an element of performance, there's an element of improvement, and there's an element of doing what it takes to win in certain ways, in certain occasions. So certainly higher up the league we finish. We want to keep pushing and working with the players and improving them with that. I think. I think if you improve the individuals, we create a better team.
You see what you say, fellas?
I think improvement.
Improvement.
Certainly improvement, helping improve individuals. I think
improve individuals.
Part of what I really enjoy is improving individuals, and in the end, I think if you improve the individuals, we create a better team. So certainly working with the players and improving them with that, I think. And yeah, listen, results. That's what it is. There's an element of performance, there's an element of improvement, and there's an element of doing what it takes to win in certain ways, in certain occasions. So. Certainly higher up the league we finish. We want to keep pushing and finishing high up as we possibly can, and we'll see where that takes us.
Has there been any stated expectations?
Kyle.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts are, bro. Yeah. Let's let me know what you think about that statement there.
Yeah, it is a beautiful statement, and it is good to see that he wants to improve the squad, that he wants to improve how we play, the structure we play, and the style of football we play. And that's a difference between Ruben's statement and Michael Carrick's statement.
Yeah, I think Michael Carrick.
I feel like Michael Carrick is a type of manager who can change the game, adjust the game, adjust his philosophy so that he can win. And he has that winning mentality.
You have to be a Man United coach, bro. I feel like, for me, I could understand. You want to play a certain way and you want to win that way. But you can't, for me, I don't think that's the way for Man United. Man United, I always feel we need to be dynamic. We need to have dynamism in our team. We could have a basic way we play, but we need to be able to make momental changes so we could hurt the opposition, And I think that's our true DNA. We could be a more possession-based team, but still be dynamic with it. And my biggest criticism of Ruben Amorim is I have not seen any player improve. They can't tell me he improved Ahmad, because everybody know Ahmad looked to be performing better as a right wing back, and he's playing on the right side. And he just needed to get more game time and look up and make better passes, and the game will open up for him. So let's not say he improved. And if we say he improved, Ahmad is only Ahmad. He probably ruined Dalo. Dalo was not that shit. Yeah, he ruining Euro. You know what I mean? He ruining this other player.
But
ruining that
Dalo
other
has
player.
been always that shit.
Huh?
No, I'm saying he has always been that shit, even before.
Who's that, Euro?
No, Dalot.
Nah, bro. Dalot in 20, bro. Dalot wasn't that bad, bro. I think Dalot was
No.
he was a little bit more a 6 out of 10 on average than a 4 out of 10 on average, in my honest
No,
opinion.
it does that.
He wasn't
With
pulling up
these
trees.
management systems. It exposes him more. But he
I
has
feel
always
like
been shit.
I just feel like he never improved players, bro. And the one thing I will say is, yeah, we need to buy new players, but on the road to buying new players, you need to improve what you have. Because until the window open, you can't buy. And if you don't get, you're just stuck. And as a Man United manager, you can't just be stuck. Anyway, let me just run out through this press conference so we can get into some talks about
not in terms of it has to be this way or that way. I think it's like I said, it's we want to be near the top league. We want to be top of the league. I mean, that's pretty obvious to say, but we got to take some small steps towards that. And European football obviously would be a step forward, and we got to keep pushing.
Hi, Michael. I was just wondering on that point of leadership, what conversations have you had with the likes of Jason and Omar, and kind of understood some of the Glazer family might have been there yesterday with Sir Jim. So what have those conversations been like?
Yeah, I've spoke to Jason an awful lot and working closely with Jason and Omar as well. And over the last few days, we spoke a lot, as you'd imagine. And yeah, the owners, the ownership group were in and around it. It was nice to see them and meet them yesterday and have a small chat with them. You know, they're taking care of business in some ways. We were able to share a few things, so wished us all the very best, and it was good to see them.
Michael, I was going to mention to you when Ruben Amorim left, one of the things that he said in his last press conference was mentioning about Gary Neville and the players, and clearly Roy Keane has immediately waded in. I know there's a personal element to that as well, so it's difficult. But in general, how do you feel about knowing that all these famous Manchester United people are going to put more pressure on you, basically?
They're not putting more pressure on me. I don't feel that. You know, I think it's just part of it. You know, the role, I understand it. I understand there's plenty of opinions around, and some are positive, some are not so much. But I think in some ways, for me, in terms of you saying about putting pressure, for me, it's totally irrelevant in terms of me and how I go to work and what I focus on. I kind of know already what we want to improve on and how we want to work with the players. And I've already said about improving things, you know, and there's a lot of opinions, a lot can be said. It is the way of the world, you know. I'm not going to pay too much attention to the most of that. I think it's not for me to do that. I think for me and the players and the staff, it's a focus on how we're going to succeed, really, and that's our job, that's our responsibility, that's what our focus and our minds should be at, is doing what we can for this club.
But that in particular is quite personal.
Honestly, it didn't bother me. Didn't bother me.
Okay.
Folks, you had it there. You have heard it there from the man himself. And of course, like, you know, I'm not going to put it out there and make it seem like it's grander or greater than it should be, folks. I'm just going to put it out there and let you guys know that, look, the manager has his opinion. The manager, currently interim, of course, you know, Carrick, he has his opinion on how he think he should contribute to Man United as a coach, whether he has an intrinsic feeling or emotion about doing so. I think this is the energy you should be having from any manager, no matter if they come to the club from the past, from a former player, or if they come to the club as a new person that now joining the Manchester United family. You have to come with that sort of energy that, despite the shortcomings, you're going to try to get the very best out of what you have until better could be done. And I think that was always the road we have to take. This is the energy you have to have. When you just say what you have is shit, that's an excuse to fail? Not in life, folks. I don't think anyone could say because they don't have the perfect situation is a reason why they are not striving for success. I think that's the reason why they gave up trying to be successful more than striving for success. Because if you look at things closely, guys, yeah, this is a game where you want to find out who stand up for the badge, yeah? Who going to lift the team? Will it be Bruno? Will it be Sesko? Will it be Mbuemo? who go and carry that spark? Or will it be Ahmad returning from, disappointment in the AFCON and seeing his team struggling without him and saying to himself, bro, we need to take this next level? Will it be Mbuemo, who had a terrible run in the AFCON, but, no, he have to come and pick himself up because, listen, he's Mbuemo. And not only that, he need to prove to himself that he wasn't just, he was just having a bad day when he was in AFCON, to be fair, folks. But don't forget, we have the edge at home, the home crowd, and probably we will counter and use set pieces. We have to use these things to our advantage. We're playing against these citizens, folks. Yeah, this is not like playing against Chelsea. It's not like playing against the Arsenal. Of course, they are rivals, but this is about pride. It's red versus blue, folks. And it's about high time we slap these bitches up again and let them know what time it is. Because, yeah, we might be down, but we never out. It's Manchester United. And if you look at the legends behind me, they never say die. This team had a never say die. But, of course, we're going to have a difficult run. And what the manager is saying, that we are going to try to get the best of what we have, I think that gives us a little bit of hope, confidence. We know the manager is going to play a back four. It's going to be interesting how he deploys that situation on the team. Let's hear what Kyle thinks about the back four, who he thinks is going to start and why. And of course, guys in the chat, get in. Let us know what your thoughts on the back four, because of course we will be taking that into account. And guys, don't forget to smash a like on the Football Overseas. He's also streaming there. So if you could look around and see where else you see our faces, the handsome boy there, he's always having the Niger girls screaming his name. Big up, whole of AFCON, he's been out, but you know what time it is. As he said, hated, adored, but never ignored.
Yeah. Yes. So my thoughts on this game, it's going to be a good game. What I want to see is passion. What I want to see is our midfield play with structure. And I want to see good passing. I want to see our midfield at least having a presence. When the opposition has the ball, let our midfield break down those passes. Let our midfield make sure that Man City's midfield does not pass to the wingers. Let our midfield make sure that they are being more aggressive. And they have accurate passing. They have good defending. And let's see an element of Michael Carrick midfield in there. We know who Michael Carrick is known for as a player. And we want to see, can our midfield resemble some of his traits as a player? Even though he's going to be coaching them for the past 3 days ahead of this game, let's see what they have learned from him in those training sessions. Let's see those link ups from midfield to wings. Let's see those long crosses. Let's see those direct passing to the midfield. And let's see the midfield being, for the first time, the edging for this team.
That would be interesting. I think the midfield, depending on if you play a 2 or if you play a 3, it might just work if you have, a Casemiro, a Menu, and a Ugarte in that 3. I don't know, but I think we should go strong in the midfield more, more to ruffle, because in the last 30, 40 minutes, let me say 30 minutes, they could bring on the likes of a Mason Mount, they could bring on, you could even bring on a Ugarte and go forward and be more adventurous against tired legs. Against Man City, you had the likes of Cunha that could come off the bench and come into attack. Because I would like to see the likes of Mbuemo starting on the left. I would like to see Sesko up front. I would love to see Ahmad start on the right. And let's put Bruno back in the 10 where he belongs. I think that starting lineup brings goals. Sesko has been informed the last 2 games, 3 goals. I think nothing changes. I think you give him service, he scores goals. And to be fair, guys, I think with Ahmad, we're going to see similar situation as when Sesko scored against, when he scored against Liverpool. It's going to be Ahmad from the wing, straight beeline to Sesko in a square, and it's back of the net, and we will be in business. Of course, they have the likes of Haaland, they have Cherki, they have Semenyo. It's going to be a difficult test for Man United. But again, we are home, the home fans. We need to be focused. And of course, a lot of people would say all sorts of things, but are underestimated United, but dangerous. The pressure is on Man City because it's pride on the line, for the Reds. Pride on the line in front of the home fans. What will these brothers do for a former legend of the club who's won trophies in front of the same crowd? What will they do? I'm hoping they're going to bring a big reaction tomorrow. But of course, we've seen before where they have kind of flopped these things. So, I mean, Kyle was there very, very astutely stating he wants to see some form of resemblance of Michael Carrick's vision on the midfield and impact. You know, Michael Carrick as a player who has a lot of control in his game. He knew when to go forward, when not to go forward. He knew when to play the pass, when to turn the ball around the corner. Will we see these sorts of decisions? I won't be shocked if we see a more controlled Man United midfield. Of course, there is the people who think that Bruno will be back to spamming, but if he's in the 10, he's not in the midfield. You know, I would even suggest maybe playing Cunha as a 8 might be the call-in for this brother because, you know, playing in the 10, he can't control this Man United team. He doesn't have the passing range to unlock everyone in front of him. You know, he's more of a player that's very good at driving with the ball. But driving with the ball when the entire game moves faster than the football, when it's not at your feet because there's such a thing called passing, you know, you need to get in behind. And folks, like the reason why I say you need to get in behind, this is Man United football. We get in behind and slaughter. You know, not all the time. Sometimes we'll play our way through and score. And sometimes we'll smash it from outside and have a banger. But yeah, sometimes we have to play behind. Get in behind, folks. What's so wrong in that shit? I don't understand. Why can't we play dynamic possession-based football where we utilize the ball, create lots of chances, try to score goals, take shots from outside, take shots from inside, take shots wherever we get open chances? Because realistically, folks, you know, a higher ratio of shots means the keeper works a lot, and obviously he will concede eventually. And I think that, you know, while it's good to pass side to side, it slows the game down. It gives the defense a lot of time to settle themselves into position and observe what you're trying to do. So sometimes I think you have to be push and pull. You have to have a crescendo to the game. You have to up the rhythm, slow it down at times, and then speed it back up again. And I think this is what United have to do. And I have a strange feeling we're going to see a game from Man United tomorrow where they will speed the game up early, slow it down, and speed it up again. And I think that's where we're going to hit Man City some daggers from the crypt where they're not expecting the most, because they will want to start a game at their pace and grow into the game. But if we can start like we usually start against Man City with a lot of big chances very early, we usually have the first 2 big chances of the game every time we play Man City, even when we lose. The biggest problem is we haven't been able to take those chances consistently. So, Kyle, I will ask you this, and I will ask this to the chat as well. What do you guys think about Man United chances if we were to get a big chance early? Will Man United take it? Which player would you like to see that chance fall on, and why?
Okay, so I think for me, the chances I see United creating that game will be from counterattacks. We all know from past games, United has been good in having fast counterattacks that City cannot handle. And I think up to now, City's fullbacks cannot handle our pacey wingers. We put a pacey winger like Ahmad on the ball, and Ahmad runs from the defense to the attack. City cannot beat him. City knows that their fullbacks cannot beat him because, let's be honest, their left back is mostly a CM that is versatile enough to play left back, and their right back is probably like somebody who plays like a DM nowadays. So I don't think City has proper fullbacks nowadays, and you can outrace City on counter attacks, and I feel like that can happen. Another place where we can beat City is corner kicks. If we can have somebody like Maguire in the box, and we have somebody like Bruno close the ball into that box, and we crowd that box, United can score a goal from a corner kick. Also, free kick. If you have Bruno swinging the ball into the box, or Bruno scores directly from the free kick, it's another possibility. So set pieces is our strength, but also it can be our weakness as well. when we're defending against it in corner kicks. We have seen too many times United concede from corner kicks, and that's our weakness as well. We rarely concede from free kicks, but corner kicks we do.
Probably it happens, bro. Yeah, I don't disagree with that statement. To me, I would also put it in this situation where I think the first 25 minutes will decide this game. How United approach this first 25 minutes will be the way that tells you if United wants to win, how is United prepared to win, and what kind of game we go and have. And when I say this, I mean, I'm not worried about conceding an early goal against Man City. We've done it before and came back and win. We've seen it at home against Man City. We've seen it. But what I would say to you guys, folks, if United starts positively and the players react well, and they keep themselves at a tempo with a rhythm in the first 25 minutes, chances will be had for Man United. It's happened all the time. We just need to take it. And of course, we have a guy who's on form, Benny Sesko. 3 goals in the last 2 games, a brace, a goal and a goal in the last game. And I think that this guy, with the proper service, will be a goal machine. And he's coming up against a player who he sees as a rival. Now, before Haaland came to the Prem and was destroying things, he was the Haaland coming to Salzburg when Haaland went to Dortmund. And he was ahead of Haaland's curve at Salzburg when he started there in Austria. And of course, not only that, but Haaland and Norway face Slovenia regularly. And the record is Slovenia has more wins and he has more goals in games versus Haaland than Haaland has goals versus him. And this is from playing in international football. Of course, we will say that's not the way to value things. Haaland is the bigger striker in club football. We all know this. We're not trying to say that Benjamin Sesko is better than Haaland. But what I'm saying to you folks right now is that Benjamin Sesko is a talent. A lot of people wondered if he was good at all. But we've seen if you give him service, he scores goals. We've seen that in the last 2 games back to back. What makes it even more interesting is that this game coming up tomorrow is a game where he sees a rival in Haaland. He will be extra motivated. He sees a rival in Man City, the blue that comes against the red of Man United. And guys, looking at these things, you have to understand he is going to come to play. He has Bruno behind him now, who's constantly creating for him. He has Ahmad coming back, who was creating for him before. And he has Mbuemo on the left. He doesn't have to worry about calling for the ball from Cunha. And Cunha keep driving and then lose it. So, folks, I implore you, have some positivity. You know your boy wasn't so positive last season. I said I was going to be the Villa, but I guess this season I have to go back to being that guy. Because guess what, folks? We are where we are, but we are going upwards. And I promise you, a lot of people might feel like this is a step backwards. But it's not only because there are so many people out here that can't wait to use your tears, your frustration, and your stress against you all, folks. And for the same purpose as getting clicks and views. And like I tell you guys, we are club and football supporters. We don't support just a manager, we support Man United. And if you're not winning for Man United consistently, then why should we support you as a manager? Ten Hag has the 3rd highest win ratio of all managers, and we got him out of here quicker than that. And he's won trophies in back-to-back seasons. So, while Amorim was saying he was going to do nice things, he wasn't actually doing amazing things. He's not putting up any trees now. So, guys, yes, we know the board has failed. But a manager can come in and show that he's capable without they giving him a golden spoon. I think it's only right that a manager who comes to Man United is capable of taking players that we have now, improving them, and then adding to that and improving Man United consistently from both sources. You can't just only hope to sign players to improve, and that is a flaw. That is one of the biggest problems in the ideology of football right now. If you don't have a checkbook, you can't win. I think that's laziness, folks. But I would say this to you guys. What are your score predictions? Drop them in the chat, because Manchester United is going to be taking on Manchester City tomorrow live, and you can come to the watch along right here. Maybe my boy Kyle will join me for the watch along. Who knows? But we know that we're going to go for a big win at home. It's going to be red versus blue. And of course, folks, let's hope and let's be there so that we get the 3 points, because 3 points means 5th, if not 4th. I think to you folks that, if we get 3 points here, the momentum takes us into Arsenal smoothly and we can slap up Tony and the Gunners. And maybe we had 6 points. We're not doing too bad. You know what I'm saying? Arsenal dropping 3 points, City dropping 3 points. We're helping the world be a better place. That's what Man United does. We save the day. You know what I mean? They talk about us being out of all comps. We said we're focusing on the league. We're only doing what Arsenal did for the last 3 seasons in a row, folks. Why be ashamed of that? These guys literally got knocked out every competition before Man United last 3 years in a row and never been to a semi-final, never been to a final. They were always focusing on the league with the deepest squad, the best defenders in the league, but they ain't winning shit and they ain't seeing armpits, folks. So where's the reality at with these guys? Why are you so mad? We already said we were going to focus on the league. Our manager, who we sacked, said this shit. He said, winning a cup doesn't make a difference. We need to win the Premier League. But then he quit. So he left us in the lurch. But guess what? Carrick got called. He said, listen, I'm going to try to improve the players, improve the squad, improve the way we play. But you can't do that without improving some of the players who are showing issues. If you don't try to improve them, nothing is ever going to improve. Because even when you bring and buy new players, if they have a flaw that needs improving, you're never going to improve that as well. What makes you think you're going to start if you never wanted to in the first place? Kyle, what is your score prediction for the game? Get it in the chat. Everyone, let me know your score predictions. I'm going to give you mine. You might have heard it in the stream before, but you hear it again, because I'm positive right now and I'm expecting a win, and I'm saying this with my chest. Big up to everyone.
Yeah, so I feel like every time we play against City and we are underdogs, we always get a win, and we should be able to get a win. I feel like Michael Carrick will on City, and City right now, let's be honest, except from the last recent 2 games, City has not been performing well in the league. We have all seen City go to Brighton. We have all seen City go to Sunderland. And we all see City hasn't gotten a win in the last 5, hasn't gotten a win in the league. In the last 5 games, they have drawn 3 times. And against Chelsea, they bottled a win against Chelsea. A Chelsea side that had a caretaker manager, and City was dominated that game. What did City do? They got too confident, and Chelsea sneaked a point from them. So I don't think there's anything to be afraid of City. City is that kind of team that can have a lot of good quality, but they get too confident. They start playing underestimating the opponent, and that's how we can beat City. And I feel like with Michael Carrick as manager, he'll really help some players like Kobe Menu. Kobe Menu will become more aggressive under Michael Carrick. He'll learn a thing or two. And I feel like Kobe Menu is like a photocopy of Michael Carrick incoming. And Michael Carrick will take him under the wings to mentor him for those 6 months.
Bro, that would be something if he could turn Kobe Menu into a version of himself, a 2026 version of Michael Carrick. Brother, with Kobe Menu in intricate ability, I think it will be interesting. Very, very a great accomplishment. And I mean, bro, we have lots of young talent, and this is my biggest thing with Amorim. If you have 2 players for every position in defense, in midfield, but you're lacking in attack, bring a youngster as a backup. Do not play a defensive player as a winger. Why would you do that? Because then this player doesn't have a clue about playing attacking football. He plays defense for a living. You know what I'm saying? Big up to Mateo in the building. Shout out to you, bro. Thanks for coming in. Don't forget to smash a like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? And to be fair, bro, this is one of the things where I'll always be pissed off about Ruben Amorim. He used to play players out of position and completely don't have anyone else. But look at Shea, Lacey. He had a shot in the FA Cup. He did get sent off, but he's showing physicality, he's showing the willingness to get on the ball, showing the willingness to come and play against players and, showing the willingness to go on the offensive, try to take on these men and them. And I say to myself, where was this kid? And I'm not saying that because I expect him to save us, but if you lacking an attacking player and you have this youngster who's willing to go on the attack, then you have to put him there. And if he fails, so be it. Because after your trial and error, he will find his line and length. This is how it works as a young player developing into the senior game. And we were never challenging for the league, so I don't understand what's the problem if he doesn't rip up trees in his first 2 games. You know what I'm saying, guys? And to be fair, I think it's radical that we was allowing Dorgu to play in that position and not say anything, because we've seen him last season. He's terrible. He can't cross the ball. He doesn't know when to pass. He can barely get past a player. Of course, he scored that wonder goal, but come on, guys. Sometimes a broken clock is be right twice a day. Oh, geez. This guy might have one big player in a month or in a year. Come on, folks. Yeah, I'm not trying to say he might not develop into a top player, but he can't play 90 minutes over 30 games, 90 minutes, and you still trying to tell me that, why don't we play Lacey? I am at the verge of saying, let's recall Harry Amas. And if Michael Carrick is watching, I promise you, Michael Carrick, you start Harry Amas, he will give you a better performance than Dorgu ever has consistently for 65 to 70 minutes. I promise you, because he can cross the ball. He's very good on the ball. He has pace. He can dribble. He can beat his man. We've seen this. He's played 5 games last season, and Amarim had to send him on loan because people would have been asking, wait, doesn't he have better stats than Dorgu? Doesn't he actually look like he's doing more than Dorgu? They would have had to bench Dorgu for Harry Amas. Because if you go back, if you are a stats guy, then you would love this point, because Harry Amas exceeds Dorgu on all metrics. In 3 games that Dorgu had 10 before he got a minute. So I'm just saying to you all, you might be upset. Some people might be hurt. At the end of the day, all I want is United to win, people. I just want United to win. It don't even have to have my favorite player in the team. As long as we win, I'll be happy. I don't know about you. So I'm predicting a 4-1 because I think Man United is going to shock Man City tonight. Everyone is expecting a weak-minded Man United, a lackluster performance. No one is expecting anyone to step up, but I think this is where we prove them wrong. I think this is where players finally get the drift. You know what I'm saying? And maybe, just maybe, we do win 4-1. I will be shamelessly supporting a 1-0 same way. You know what I'm saying, folks? I don't know what Kyle's opinion is or what Kyle thinks as the scoreline would be, but he's going to give you guys that now, guys, in the chat. Before you drop your score prediction, please, someone explain to Daquan. You know, Crystal Palace would never have been able to get 5 million if Maguire didn't decide to be nice to them. Maguire had a deal with Barcelona on a free in the summer. He allowed Crystal Palace to get 20 million pounds because he's probably earning 450k a week after taxes at Man City per week. And there was not literally no other club in the world that's going to pay him 450k a week. So guys, it's very interesting. But what I can tell you is they might have sensational players and new signings, but Man City still has that fear of the big bad red Man United. And Man United has to do their job. Of course, we can't fear City no time. We don't have the best of the best, but we have players that could certainly get themselves into a situation. That was in January. Don't try to make it seem like, you know, he said no to them. He had a year left on his contract. They was trying to get him since last year, January. It trickled into the summer. And this is his last season. He goes on a free at the end of the season. You cannot ask a player, you cannot sell a player in January who's at the end of his contract. If he decides to let you sell him, you can only sell him for the price he dictates. And it was dictated that they will accept 20 million so that he could earn 400k a week. Because otherwise he would have gone to Barcelona and they would have gotten 0, broski. So, I mean, it's cool, but yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm getting what you mean.
You know what I mean? So like, and the only reason is because Maguire promised maybe Glasner wanted a player. Maguire say, well, how much the player costs? They say, well, okay, go and pay X for the player. Okay, I'll sponsor that and I'll leave. Boom. You know what I mean? But I feel like, you know, a lot of people making it seem like Man City did great business. They didn't do great business because you not going to accept your club playing 450k a week to a defender. You not going Liverpool fans not accepting that. You know what I mean? Arsenal fans not going to accept that. Man United fans, lots of them won't accept that either. So with the exorbitant salaries and deal and agent fees that they pay to get this player to sign for them, it was obvious that Crystal Palace was always going to get whatever fee they did. And the lucky Man City was generous because Man City could have offered 10 million and they would have had to take it. Because guess what? He was walking on a free. There was nothing they could do about him walking on a free, day one. So when it is a player looking to walk on a free, it's never really amazing business. You know what I'm saying? It's usually difficult business and expensive business, bro. The fact that Crystal Palace got 20 million, he had to thank Maguire for that, bro, because he remembered them in his heart. And I'll be honest and say that, guys. You know, Glasner also threatened in the summer to leave if they sell his best players. This was facts. So it's good to know this, guys. And to be fair, what I would say to you guys, take some moments, take your time, drop the comments in the chat. I know a lot of you are probably tuning into Mark Goldbridge right now because it's Friday night. The show is 9 o'clock. We know how it goes. But yeah, check out your boy Marken, Football Overseas, your boy Kyle. You know, smash a like, subscribe, share the show around, and come tune in next week, guys, because we're taking on Arsenal next. I mean, it's going to get more interesting each and every week. The competition gets bigger. It's only Premier League until the summer, but I can tell you, hey, Europe's calling. They miss us. You know what I mean? Big up to Kyle for coming through. Big up to each and every one of you for coming into the building. And of course, guys, we hope to see you tomorrow for the watch along. Please stay tuned for more. Maybe hopefully I will get some time from Kyle. You know, it's not the best alignment right now. I was super late today. This stream should have been at 6. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kyle. You know, Deutsche Bahn, funktioniert nix. You know what I'm saying? But, folks, it's been a pleasure. You know what I mean? Kyle will be here more often. We're going to force him into this thing. You know, go subscribe to his channel. Tell him Marken said so. And big up to each and every one of you watching, guys, because without you, we can't make this possible. You know, the Red Devil mode, it's just a vibe, folks. You can be a Red Devil mode anywhere you are in the world. It's just universal because no matter where you are, we are all one big red family. You know what I'm saying, folks? So smash the like, subscribe. If you missed it, check out the beginning. We listened to Darren Fletcher's amazing comments in some instances. And yeah, in some instances, he did sound like a young coach. But main thing is he's coming here to get to do the best he can. And you know what, guys? Until the summer, I'm going to back this guy because he speaks my language. He wants to win. And I'll get you guys. Big up to Kyle.
Yeah,
Big up to all of you watching.